Yeah, back live, direct, in effect. It's your boy. Hey, we got new monikers around here. Some of you may know me as AR the Equalizer. If you know me from way back when, you might recognize the voice as A. Dot, AR. But with no further ado, enough about me. Please excuse the hiatus. We had to figure some things out. We had to figure out which route it'll be that we go. I mean, from boxing training to just life in general. But man, we pushing a minute in. Let's get straight to this boxing possible fight breakdown between Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. Jaron Ennis just made his 154-pound super welterweight junior middleweight debut against Usman Lima. A first-round stoppage in an impressive, emphatic fashion. You know what I mean? Landed some combinations and it was just too much for Lima. Lima had taken up the sport of boxing at the age of 18, which is a pretty late start if we're comparing, the top contenders in the world who start anywhere from 5 to 8 years old. So that's a disadvantage in and of itself, but it's still possible to climb the ranks and go to the top. But as we all know, with anything regarding professionalism, professional sports, professional golf, professional anything, is levels. You heard? It's levels. And we got some things to break down between this potential fight, this potential showdown. I wouldn't call it the mega fight, but it's definitely good for the community of boxing. We got, again, Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr. And if you're familiar with this channel, I like to break down the skill pillars of each fighter. I have an extensive library of fighters' attributes and what I personally rate them at. And I may or may not get back to that, but what I'm really interested in going forward is just putting the attributes one to another and fight breakdowns. I feel like that's more of a better route to go than just picking off individual fighters and breaking them down and giving our content and things like that. It's a lot of work, but man, listen, we're going to compare the skill pillars. Let's get into the skill pillars. The skill pillars are form, boxing form. Number 2, physical capabilities. Number 3, intangibles. Number 4, strategy, execution. For I am the strategy merchant. Say it right. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. And I'm going to compare each skill pillar of where I have Jaron Ennis sitting and where I have Virgil Ortiz Jr. sitting. And we go break this thing down to its finite variable. Huh? We go simplify this crazy mathematical equation, this big mystery. Who's going to win? We go break it down. Brick by brick. We go break down this fight. And please support the channel. Like, share the content, subscribe, hit that notification bell so we can keep the content coming, man. Time is money, time is of the essence. As you all know, this stuff requires work, research, and time not cheap. So let's get to it. The first skill pillar, boxing form, I give the edge to Jaron Ennis with boxing form. For one of the components of boxing form, his boxing stance, I would say that it may be better than Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is very strong in his boxing stance. He's coming, with the high guard, and he's very sturdy in that stance. But we all know the fact that Jaron Ennis, he can fight orthodox or southpaw and switch at any given moment of the fight, and he's great from both sides. I have to give the edge of boxing stance to Jaron Ennis. Moving on to the second component, proper footwork. Proper footwork. Who would you guys take? A Virgil Ortiz Jr. or Jaron Ennis? I have to give the edge to Jaron Ennis with the proper footwork. Being able to shift his body weight, whether it's with lateral movement or squaring up to get rid of this man. That's an edge, and we have enough film on both to gauge who looks better in spots. Granted, I believe Virgil Ortiz is a menace when it comes to cutting off the ring and applying pressure. But throwing my little tad bit in from Jaron Ennis' previous fight before the Lima fight against Emontius Stanionis, we know that Stanionis was a very, very good pressure fighter. What he say? All gas, no brakes. Jaron Ennis said that he gonna run into a brick wall, and that's exactly what happened. I have to give the edge of proper footwork to Ennis. The third component of boxing form, hand positioning for defense and offensive attacks. I favor Ennis to win this fight, by the way, but I would have to say when it comes to hand positioning, I give the edge to Virgil Ortiz Jr. He's very disciplined in that high guard, and he sticks with it. Now, we all know that there's variables with this boxing thing, and you have to be able to adjust. But just for what it is, just for this skill component right here, I have to give the edge to Virgil Ortiz. He's disciplined with his hand positioning, which is good for protection. I don't believe that he'll be susceptible to taking excessive damage. It'll be a great fight. Make no mistake about it. It will be a great fight, and his hand positioning will be a saving grace for him. I don't see Virgil Ortiz getting careless and trying to get his back if Jaron Ennis gets off a few on him. I believe he's the type of fighter that will stick to holding his hand position for defense and offensive attacks the same way from round 1 to round 12 if it goes the distance. In the last skill component for boxing form, we have proper punch form. With Jaron Ennis, we know that he's explosive, fast hands, and his combinations is dazzling. Virgil Ortiz, I cannot be biased against him, for he has disciplined, proper punch form. Every punch thrown is with ill intent, and he's looking to be accurate. So is Jaron Ennis. Both of them are elite, proper punchers. But I give that edge to Virgil Ortiz Jr. So when it comes to the skill pillar of boxing form, who do I favor? I favor Jaron Ennis slightly. I say like a 54-46% split. You know what I'm saying? But it's low-key even as far as boxing form goes. But we'll get on to the next skill pillar, which is physical capabilities. And the first skill component is stamina. Who do I favor with the stamina edge? Who has that workload, who appears to not get tired and they just go? To be honest, we haven't seen Boots push to those limits. Yes, he's gone the distance with Karen. You know what I mean? He's going to he's gone the distance twice with him. They fought twice. The first time, Karen had amazing footwork. Boots couldn't seem to catch him. The second fight, he dropped Karen in the 6th round, I believe, but it went the distance. And Boots Ennis, he showed good stamina, but it's really no one that took him to deep waters and forced him to work for his win. But Virgil Ortiz, on the other hand, we've seen that. We've seen that with a few different fights. Boachuk, he got pushed to the limit with Boachuk. Mean Machine definitely, Igis Kavalauskas definitely pushed Virgil Ortiz. In a lot of Virgil Ortiz fights, it's a fight, and as far as his gas tank goes, he don't seem to gas out. You know what I mean? So I have to give the edge to Virgil Ortiz Jr. in that department. The skill component of stamina. The second skill component under the physical capabilities pillar is endurance. Endurance and stamina low-key goes hand in hand. Like I said, we don't have much film on Jaron Boots Ennis' endurance because no fighter has really pushed him to have to dig deep and will himself to a victory. We haven't seen it. Every fight has pretty much been a blowout, a landslide. Even his fights that's gone the distance, it's like it's a one-side show. And on the other hand, we got Virgil Ortiz, who's been in some really physical fights. And they've shown that he can dig deep and go 15 rounds if need be. It's like, what is fatigue for him? He has an engine. So, with not much more said, I have to give the edge and endurance to Virgil Ortiz Jr. Overall strength, the third skill component of physical capabilities. This is tough. How can I measure the overall strength of both? Jaron Boots Ennis, he has snap on his punches. But as far as pushing the guy around, overall strength, not punching power, overall strength, as far as standing his ground and being in the trenches, you know what I mean, fighting on the inside, he can stand his ground. Definitely can't call him weak. No, I don't believe anyone can push Boots Ennis around. Nobody. But I would say this is Virgil Ortiz's wheelhouse. This is the type of fight that he wants. Understand, this is the type of fight that Virgil Ortiz is looking for. If he has a shot at beating Jaron Boots Ennis, it will have to be in the trenches, in the inside, trading combinations like a Mike Alvarado, Brandon Rios type of scrap. And I would even go as far as to say a Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto type of scrap. And that was more so fought from the mid-range to the inside. But I definitely give the edge in the overall strength department to Virgil Ortiz Jr. over Jaron Boots Ennis, which isn't a knock. I'm not biased when it comes to this thing. Like, of course, I'm favoring Jaron Boots Ennis to win, but make no mistake about it, this fight is still close. These margins aren't that wide to where it's like it'll be a blowout. This will be a fight that goes past 10 rounds. At the least. Not at the most, but at the least. It's going to go at least 10 rounds, and I actually see this going the distance, the full 12 rounds, because Virgil Ortiz is just that tough. It'll be a spectacular fight. A barn burner, fireworks from start to finish. Definitely. The next skill component under the skill pillar of physical capabilities is punching power. And to be honest, I believe that the punching power for both are equal. If we're comparing their resumes side by side, the step-up fights that each guy supposedly had, their so-called step-up fights, and I say so-called because they made these step-up fights look rather easy. They finished a lot of these guys. If I'm not mistaken, Virgil Ortiz, he got all knockouts. Everybody that he's faced, he stopped. So, and the same could be said for Jaron Boots Ennis. Outside of Karen, he put everybody out of there under 10 rounds. So I say the punching power department is pretty much equal, and I can only go off of film. I can't go off of hypotheticals. I can't go off of who I favor, any biases. Understand? And when you actually look close, you see that the power transfer is the same between both guys. The way they have their men react. Understand? The way their opponents react to the punches, especially when we get past the 6th round, the 5th round, the 7th round. These guys react to both of their punches two and the same. So I say the punching power department is pretty much equal. Yeah, we'll go on to the next skill component under the skill pillar of physical capabilities. I give the hand speed department to Jaron Boots Ennis, without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you see the way that he trained, the way he hits the heavy bag, and of course, he's staying disciplined with form. He not just throwing punches just to look fast, but those muscles, his muscle retraction, and just the muscle memory. You can tell he's been doing it for a long time. If you do something for a long period of time, you'll get better, you're going to get quicker, going to get faster. His hand speed transforms into power, but he clearly has the edge on Virgil Ortiz and hand speed. I think we all can see that. Next, we'll move on to foot speed. His nickname is Boots for a reason. He's the faster guy in the foot speed department. We see the film, we know what Boots do. If it's nothing else, we know that, well, the casual eyes say that he's flashy. It's not even that. He's that good. He know what his man's going to do before his man do it. And he could find his shots. He could find his offense, and he can evade punches with his feet. Jaron Boots Ennis is feet first. And I would say Virgil Ortiz, to his credit, he's feet first too, but he's moving, and which is good discipline. He's moving with his whole body. You know what I mean? He's bringing his full body weight with each step that he makes. With Boots is lateral movement, hopping, and you know what I mean? Taking long steps, long strides in the ring while not putting himself on the ropes and having enough awareness to be able to circle his opponent. So I definitely had to give the foot speed department to Jaron Boots Ennis. And overall, under the skill pillar of physical capabilities, I give a slight edge to Virgil Ortiz Jr. 52-48. A slight edge. And it's not to say that he's more dominant than Boots or anything, but make no mistake about it, in order for Virgil Ortiz Jr. to win his fight, He gonna have to make it a physical, ugly fight. So why not give him the edge in the physical capabilities department? Moving on. Next skill pillar, intangibles. And I just say it off rip. I'm giving an edge, not even an edge. I give this all day to Jaron Ennis. So we have 4 skill components under this skill pillar: head movement, anticipation, anticipation/effective blocking, effective combination punches, and counter punching ability, in which I give all 4 to Jaron Ennis. When it comes to intangibles, he's a generational talent, that of a Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather. Not saying that he's those guys, but he has the potential to rank up with these guys, without a doubt, without a question. His head movement is off the charts. Anticipation, effective blocking, off the charts. Effective combination punching, off the charts. Counter punching ability, off the charts. His timing overall is just, it's too much for his opponents to handle. And this is where the fight is lost for his opponents. When he activates these 3 things, when he starts to really implement head movement, anticipation, effective combination punching, counter punching, it's where the fight goes left. It could be from round 1. At any given point of the fight, this is where Jaron Ennis steals the show. And I don't see, honestly, I believe this is where the fight will be lost for Virgil Ortiz Jr. I honestly don't see how Virgil Ortiz could combat this, besides making it physical and ugly and not giving Jaron Ennis the space or the ability to operate in this department to show intangibles. 64-36 split. I favor Jaron Ennis in this department. Moving on to the last skill pillar, strategy execution. I have to give the edge to Jaron Ennis. 58-42. I favor Jaron Ennis in the strategy execution department. I'll tell you why. We got 3 skill components under strategy execution, which is pace, dictation, awareness of opponent's strategy, opponent's weakness, exploitation, in which I favor Boots in all 3 skill components. All 3. And we can get into some detail. Pace dictation, you would want to argue for Virgil Ortiz that he imposes his will. But to be honest, when you in that ring with Boots, you have to fight at his pace. As I just stated about the intangibles, that's a lot to deal with. And if he turns it up, if you can't match the intensity that Jaron Ennis is bringing, it's going to wear you down mentally, because strategy execution is all about the mental. It's the mental aspect of the game. I do like Virgil Ortiz's Junior's trainer, Roberto Garcia, phenomenal trainer. He's very underrated. In my opinion, I don't think he gets enough praise or credit that he should get. It's like the boxing world acknowledges him, but they don't really value and honor him as much as they should. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't hear his name enough though, but yeah, I definitely give the pace, dictation, skill component edge to Jaron Ennis. The awareness of his opponent's strategy. Regardless of who's in the corner training his opponent, the trainer can't fight for the fighter. We all know that. And to be honest, Jaron Ennis is just aware in that ring. He's aware of everything going on, and it's not too much that can hit him by surprise. I honestly feel like the only person that could beat Jaron Ennis is someone who too is a generational talent, who too is pound for pound on that pound for pound list, which is subjective. I don't even care to get off into the debate about that because everyone has their picks, and the criteria, I don't even know if criteria even matters anymore. But the last skill component of the last skill pillar, of the fourth skill pillar, opponent weakness, exploitation. I got boots on that. Any weakness that he see, he's gonna poke at that hole till it's a gaping hole, till he just blows this guy out. And Virgil Ortiz Jr., how does he exploit his opponent's weakness? Is by making it rough on the inside, in which he can box. He's smart, he's intelligent, he's capable, but I just don't see him exploit any weakness of Jaron Ennis the way that Jaron Ennis could exploit his weaknesses. That's all I have. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. More content coming. Despite the brief hiatus, it's all good. We in the game like EA. You heard? I holler back at y'all.